Hello YouTube, this is 2G1W Musique bringing you another video in the Splatoon series. Today we won't be doing story mode, we'll be doing online mode, trying to reach level 10. And also, recently Nintendo announced that the last Splatfest is about to happen. For those of you who don't know what that is, the Splatfest is a thing in Splatoon where it's a full day event. Sometimes it's a full weekend, sometimes it's national, and sometimes it's global, but pretty much you choose two sides. You choose one side out of two sides, and pretty much that day you fight for your side, and based on what happens, you win or you lose. But, yeah, so the last Splatfest is coming up soon, and hopefully they announce a new Splatoon game, but probably won't, they'll wait for that. Anyways, let's get to it. So, where we left off, we were level 6, and we were sniping. And last episode we were doing story mode, but I'm talking about when we were actually playing. So, right now, what are the stages? Alright. Yeah, let's go with the bucket. Also, I'm not going to do a separate video to talk about E3, I'm going to just talk about E3 right here. So, not just E3 in general, but about the Legend of Zelda portion of E3. But, so, when they announced the name for the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, every single just blew up about it, because the game was announced in like 2013 or 2014 when they announced Wind Waker HD, but they never announced a game for the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, or a name for the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and they just showed a trailer, I guess, and then no name. And recently they showed more about the game, such as artwork and things like that, and they announced Twilight Princess back in 2015, 2014, but people weren't as excited for the new Legend of Zelda game, Breath of the Wild, because not many people, or there wasn't enough about it to actually be excited for it, because they waited too long to say anything about it. And I understand why they waited so long, because they wanted to make sure everything was good, such as with the physics engine. The physics engine in the game is crazy. So I saw this story, right? And it was this guy who was at a Bokoblin base. For those of you who don't know, Bokoblin is like one of the main enemies in Legend of Zelda. But what happened was, he was at very low health, and there was a boss Bokoblin there. And so, as the boss enemy, the mini-boss enemy, was running at him, he stepped on fire, and that burned him. And I'm like, wait, so the boss can die from fire? And the thing about that was that he had such low health that he actually died from it. But the part that surprises me is that they actually thought about that in the game. Like, yeah, fire hurts you, but it was just like a miniature stick on the ground that was on fire from like a blast or something, and just running at the player stepped on the flaming stick, and then as he was running he just slowly burned to death, which is, in the game, for a physics engine like that, that's decently common. Like, it's obvious that that would happen, but I mean, that's never been in the Legend of Zelda game. And there's a lot more, such as how wind affects fire and things like that. So, overall, the game is going to be great. What else is there to talk about it? Oh, we have not seen the classic green tunic from it at all. We haven't seen Link's usual outfit from the game. And the thing about that bugs me is that the game does take place after Skyward Sword, most likely. And in Skyward Sword, that's when they established the green tunic thing. So, like, if it's not before Skyward Sword, then they're probably gonna have the green tunic. But we haven't seen anything like that. And why did my teammate just run off the ledge? But as I was saying, we haven't seen anything on that. So maybe it's gonna be something an unlockable once you complete all the shrines. I don't know. But man, like Nintendo is smart in the sense that they were able to keep Breath of the Wild a secret for so long. Like nothing was leaked at all, surprisingly. But then again, there's always going to be that little bit of doubt because there's no new information about it. But at E3, back to E3, that was amazing. I didn't get to play the game at E3, but Nintendo World Store was doing an event, and on a Saturday, I was waiting for like 3 hours with my brother on a line that stretched around a New York City block, and that's a long line. But what happened was we waited and we got a spot. We got the very last, like, very last spot on the schedule. So we got to go 8 days after we waited in the line at like 5 p.m. and it was awesome. The game itself, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, is going to be great. I could just tell from playing the demo. Like, they're working on a bit more details, but in general, it seems like it's going to be a good game. Not a good game, but a great game. I've been waiting for a Zelda game where it's more open, and Breath of the Wild is probably going to do that, because the theme for the game is, from the words of the developers themselves, if you can see it, you can reach it. And that, for a Zelda game, that has never happened. You've always been confined by some sort of wall, some sort of magical shield or something. But, this Zelda game is breaking barriers, like the developer said. I'm hoping to see some returning characters. I got to play the demo, as I said, and in the demo there were no actual characters like that you would notice, except for the old man, because they took out all the villages and all the things related to storylines in the demo, not to spoil anything, and I'm glad they did that because I want to know the story for myself. Pretty much the story, what I know so far based off of the demo and what's been announced, is that you wake up 100 years after Calamity Ganon was released, and villagers and people tried to confine Calamity Ganon, and they confined him in Hyrule Castle, and pretty much before they could confine him, he just destroyed Hyrule. And that's, you're waking up in a world where everything is just gone. Like, that was some lag, but where everything is gone, and it's such a good thing to place the storyline off of, because it's like, I don't know what it's like, it's just different for a Zelda game, I guess. I'm just hoping that the end result is going to be good. They didn't say anything about the NX at E3, but they confirmed that it's going to be launched in March, which is good. What else did they say? Oh yeah, it's pretty much Nintendo's E3. They spent like a full day, they spent 2 days talking about Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which shows that they want to build up the hype for it again. They don't, oh, I died. They don't want to let the game die before it even comes out. So what I was noticing was that there's a lot of elements, like a lot of things that you wouldn't see in a regular Zelda game, or in any RPG game, open world, as a matter of fact. Like, different temperatures. You might see that in an RPG game world, but I'm not sure. But then there's also things like you're able to snowboard on your shield to get down mountains faster. You have a stamina gauge. You're able to create temporary hearts. You're able to summon Wolf Link, actually, if you have the Wolf Link amiibo. Good news about that too is that I got all the heart containers in Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. So now when I do the dungeon with the Wolf Link amiibo, if I beat it without taking any damage, I'll be able to have Wolf Link as a companion in Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild with 20 full hearts. And that's going to be useful because the game, Breath of the Wild, it's not Skyward Sword, it's not Twilight Princess, it's not Ocarina of Time. It's actually a hard game. Like, the other Zelda games were hard because of their puzzles. This one is actually hard because of the combat. So, I'll tell you more about when I was playing the game demo at Nintendo World Store. It's an awesome place, you should check it out. But, that's why I know about it, because it's an awesome place. But, what happened was, we had our tickets after we signed up a week before, and we got to play the game, me and my older brother and I, and we were playing, or we weren't playing yet, we were waiting, because, like, we got there slightly early while the other people were, like, the people an hour before us were still doing their specific time, because we got there, like, half an hour early. But anyways, the great part about it is that first they showed us a trailer. They showed us the original trailer from E3 on a big screen, and I don't mean a big screen as in like a TV big screen. I mean big screen as in like the entire wall was a screen, and they just showed it on that. And it wasn't a projector, it was actually each little game, or each little screen part of the whole screen that you see on a TV. And it's great because what happened was after they showed us the trailer, they talked a little bit about the game, and the guy who was explaining stuff to us, he was about to say who wants to play on the big screen, and before he could finish his sentence, before he could even say screen, my hand, I just wanted to play it so bad. And so I got to play on the big screen in front of like a whole crowd, because there were a lot of people there. Like, not just people who got to play, but people who were watching other people play, because they didn't sign up a week before. So they were just there to be there. And I was just sitting there, right, exploring. I run into this boss, and it's a huge boss. It's called the Step Talus. And it was crazy. Like, it was literally crazy. It was a gigantic rock that came out of the ground, and I just had to fight it. Like, they spawned me with 4 weapons, and your weapons break in the game, so it's like even more realistic. So I'm sitting there attacking him, and all 4 of my weapons break, and he's only down to like a third of his health. So I take out my arrows, and I utilized a really cool aspect of the game where when you shoot your arrow, if you jump from anywhere and shoot your arrow, it goes into slow motion. So I was doing that. I was firing bomb arrows, so that way the explosion would do more damage. And it was just crazy. The artwork was crazy. The effects, the animation was crazy. And the best part of it all was that I was in front of people, so like if I messed up, anyone to continue. That was a really important part for me, because it made me realize that although when you're playing the game, it seems like a really big achievement, it'll make you think that it's not a big achievement to other people because they're just watching you. but it really is a big achievement. Like, it really is. And the people, just by watching, they knew that. I didn't expect them to know, because it was like, just the people who were there at the store, because it's a store, it's literally a store by Nintendo, for Nintendo, to people who love Nintendo. What? I was behind the bomb, but okay. But, as I was saying, so, it was just, like, parents and little kids, and then a few people who were, like, in their 20s who actually like Nintendo also, but I didn't expect them to start clapping, so I was like, okay, what do I do now? And Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is just amazing. And some parts of it are just confusing with the bosses, the dungeons, things like that. But then there are parts of the game where it makes you love the game. And I mean, like, it's just so, the storyline makes you love the game because it's so sad. Like, if you've ever played a Legend of Zelda game before, then you'd know what I mean, because, oh snap, it's a Legend of Zelda game. I bet Hyrule is going to be awesome this time. Next thing you know, they put you in a post-apocalyptic version of Hyrule, where everything's destroyed, and literally the game is you trying to find out what happened. And that's messed up, because you're finding out how your home was destroyed, and that just puts a really dark aspect on the game, a dark viewpoint, a dark perspective, and it was crazy. Anyways, that's enough talking about E3. So, if you enjoyed this video, subscribe if you want to see more from this channel. I'll be posting a lot more often now, but the videos won't be edited because usually bigger YouTube channels have editors for them, or they actually have the time to edit, but I'm kind of busy, so I can't edit. So I'll be uncut videos where I don't edit them at all. I just take the audio and upload it.